What's going on, everyone? I'm Brandon, and this is the Greening the Desert Project. The last couple years have been a really exciting experience, especially with getting more involved with the landscape, observing more, investigating more, and just looking at the diversity. And that's what's especially just interesting and unique to my landscape, at least, is just these different ecosystems that I have within just this little space here. But it's also what just kind of helps give example on how we can implement a lot of different rainwater harvesting techniques and practices and organic practices and such on different types of landscapes. So that's just kind of the nice thing, is that I've got three kind of different examples to be able to show everyone. I've been talking about the upper portion for the most part because that's essentially where the zoning starts from the different rain gardens and also the main focus for the rotational grazing. But it's obviously not the end of the story, because there's still plenty to work with. Even though I've constructed a whole lot of these different swales and berms and all the different earthworks, there's still lots of small little details to do and carve out. And there's still plenty of ideas and projects that I really haven't detailed to everyone as well. So that's part of my strategy too, is I don't want to give everything away quite yet. But being able to show the upper portion between the south and then coming towards the northern portion, that's what's super interesting, because even behind me, I'm actually on the slope of the northern portion, which actually leads down to the wash area, which I've previously talked about, especially with the check dams and such, so we'll get back to that soon. But my northern slope is something I've mentioned a few different times and not so much documented, because I've kind of classified this as one of the healthiest spaces that I have on the landscape. And you can see just a lot of the trees, the grasses. We've got rock mulching. There's wood chunks all over. So we've got a lot of really good stuff that's going on. So this is a space that I really don't want to do too much, and it's more just an observation because it's already somewhat established and seems pretty healthy. It's really going to be more so just simple maintenance, simple chop and drops, but not too much of having rotational grazing in here just because of the slope. And it's going to be hard to get fencing and stuff and maneuver just in this area because of the slope. But since there's been a good majority of stuff done on the upper portion, and I really am just kind of tinkering away at all the small little details, so we'll get to a lot of that in the future. But what I really want to get to is a spot that I have neglected the last couple of years, and that's partially just because it's down the hill over here. And we're looking at maybe a 20 to 30 foot drop in elevation on this northern portion. And when we're just looking at permaculture zoning, it's just outside getting into the zone 4, 5, 6 kind of range. So it's really something that's like out of the area of convenience, you could think. So I want to go down to the lower portion and just show you the huge difference that there is compared to the rest of the property that I've shown. And mind you that this area hasn't been touched by the goats. I haven't had any animals down here. No earthworks have been done besides working with the little creek or the wash. Oh, I take that back. I actually have a couple basins that were done down below, and that was from when my friend came up with the machine to do a few other things with the road access and stuff. But I'm not going to be factoring in those basins for today, at least, because I really just want to focus on a couple areas that I've had my eye on and just the ideas that I have. And especially because this is going to be a fresh piece, so to speak. Nothing's touched. We're coming in at a clean slate. So now I can show you what's going on down there. So now we're down at the lower portion, and you can see the huge difference that there is. I mean, we've got a lot of open space, but you can also see that there's a huge lack of vegetation. We've got a lot of short grass down here, that's the nice thing, but really there's not a whole lot going on down here, especially compared to the northern portion right behind me, just the northern slope at least. So these little clues we could get from nature, we could definitely take some examples from that portion of the landscape and apply a lot of stuff going on down here at least. But I've actually got different plans, and that's where regular rainwater harvesting, not the landscape type of rainwater harvesting, we're looking at what I had talked about a while ago now, actually, just because this is so far out. But now I really want to start planning out just the design features on this lower portion, and it's more specifically for capturing rainwater. And that's going to be kind of the aspect, is that it's not going to be about doing so many earthworks as it is about creating a smooth space to create roofing or basically lay out a tarp And that's also where I'm planning out the basin area, or a few different basin areas, because I'm going to be taking advantage of a lot of these open spots. That's the big advantage that I do have, is that there's a whole lot of building material down here, and more so just a lot of gravel that I can rake up. So I'm going to be raking a lot of these open areas to get all of the gravel, and then I'm going to be using the gravel on the roadway, on the berms, on the rolling dips, and kind of just along the pathway as much as I can go, and as much material as I kind of gather up too. So this is really where I'm starting fresh on a landscape. I've kind of analyzed and looked at my plan overall of what I want to accomplish down here. So if I'm wanting to capture and harvest rainwater, essentially measure out and see my square footage that I'm able to work with in each of these areas. So then I can get calculations of how much potential rainwater I can capture. But then that comes into the details for the basin. So the basin will get dug out last, because I want to configure and calculate how much space I have, and then convert that to square footage, so then I know how much roof space total and equate that to the rainfall. But doing little steps at a time. I'm only one person, so I can only do so much. And it's starting to get warmer out too, so I definitely want to pace myself. But that's where I've started moving all the little rocks, all the bigger rocks, but then starting to rake up all of this gravel. And essentially, I'm just going to start compiling all of the material in each of these spots. And then I can come back here with the quad and the truck even to start gathering up and moving the material out. So it's definitely going to take a little work just to get all of the material gathered up and moved away. But at the same time, it's a lot of open space and a lot of area to work with that I'm excited for, because this is potentially going to help get me to that 80,000 gallons of water storage that I've been kind of talking about. Or at least getting close to it, because really we can't plan for everything. There's going to be obstacles along this whole way. I might have to take out a few trees to accommodate for certain things. So it's really going to be a play-by-play down here. Even though I do have a plan, that's really, we have to be flexible with our plans, because there's going to be all these different pros and cons and things that kind of change as we start developing down here. Now, obviously, if we're going to be trying to get machines in here or even vehicles back behind here, pathways are going to be kind of the first priority, really, and that's just being able to make that space, because then eventually we can still accommodate for all of the structures and just the catchment area in general, what's going on back there. But having access to be able to get vehicles and machines is super important. So I'm looking at a pretty straight shot path. And it's kind of just coincidental too, that just the way that this path is going to go, it's going to be fairly on contour, but it's also going to have a slight little dip where essentially we'll have the water run this way. So we're guiding the water, and then in that way I already have a basin that my friend had dug out before. So there's two different basins over here. And so in this way, with the water coming down the hill, even though I won't be able to utilize some of the areas, because they're just a little bit smaller. That's where now I can think about rainwater harvesting just in the earthwork sense, and starting a pathway that sits almost on contour and at least guides the water and slows it down. So that way I have kind of options of where I can direct it to at the same time, because the farther back that I go, the more that I could guide that to other basins. But for now, it's really just the basics. But overall, that's kind of a little bit what I want to point out too, is that sometimes we can start on a focus. Just say that I'm looking at these open areas for rainwater catchment, so I'm going to need just all that open space to lay down roofing or tarp material. But then understanding, I'm looking at all of the material that I'm going to be taking away from it, all the gravel and potentially some of the dirt and such. That's where I do need to recognize that, oh yeah, we're going to need some pathways and not just wheelbarrow pathways, essentially, because it's moving heavier material. So now planning out the pathway, that's where now I can start incorporating the earthworks, looking at things through that rainwater harvesting lens in just these conventional and unconventional, you could think, ways. And speaking of earthworks, that's really one big thing for all of the earthworks that have been done on the top portion of the property, because essentially that's a big problem that I've had since the very beginning. It's just this rocky landscape altogether. And really one of the main problems up top is that the rock layer really isn't too far down. We're looking at maybe a foot or two below the soil level. And that's actually what makes it a lot more difficult to find these spots to dig deeper. So that's really one of the biggest advantages down on this lower portion. There's actually a lot more spots that are diggable to at least a really good depth for the most part, but overall just a better option to do the basins and the major water holding storage areas down below here. And then it's essentially just having to figure how to pump it up. But I think I got an idea for that. But it's also what I said earlier, that this area is pretty fresh, so we've got a lot of fresh materials, plenty of gravel, plenty of rocks. I'm more so excited just for the rainwater catchment, because just from the calculations that I've done, at least from the few spots around here, but just for in general, right now at least, I've got the potential for 20K of that liquid sky gold. Now 80,000 gallons might be a little bit of a stretch for what we're capable of catching, because it's going to require a lot of coverage of plastic or whatever to capture the rain. But that's actually just part of my goals, is just being able to harvest as much of the rainwater as I can, while also implementing all of the other designs and earthworks and such like that. So essentially the fundamental catchment of all the rainwater in either line basins or in earthworks is the ultimate goal on the whole landscape. But that's where, because of the rotational grazing involving livestock, animals and such, that's where a good majority of these basins are going to be lined out, so that I'm holding water and able to use it for all the different fruit trees and the livestock and all that stuff for the future. But that ultimate goal is what dictates a lot of rainwater harvesting basins around the landscape. Since I was talking about bowls, I just want to at least come over to the Zuni bowls since we're down below here. So I'd previously done the rolling dip in these two Zuni bowls in 2024, and then last year I had done these other two Zuni bowls along with the two demi-lunes as well. So it's really cool to just see all the different stuff that's growing between the rocks and just all the vegetation around the Zuni bowls in general, especially from how things used to be just bare and sandy, and now there's just a whole lot more grass, a lot of different vegetation that's growing here. Hold on a second, hold on. I got this barrel underneath the tree because I got a really specific project that I want to do with it.
Barren, harsh wasteland, a dry sand and stone site, but it's the progress of nature she's more than willing to fight. And now the new times that have just come around are showing destruction, the decimation to ground, the balance and flow they once used to have hold, now shaken and shattered, no more truth to be told. And she wails with her winds, her anger, the eruption, red hot magma to singe. It's the rage that she holds, turning tremor to quake, changing life on the land, making way of mistakes.